Hello guys, it's me Matto, and today I want to talk about what HSR has put out. They have put out a new developer radio talking about changes that they're going to be making in the future versions. Now, this is quite exciting actually, and I was not expecting them to really address the issues in this, but I'm getting ahead of myself, so yeah, let's get into it, okay? And before I begin, be sure to subscribe. That would make me very happy. And yeah, let's get into it. The first thing they are mentioning is the story. Now, I'll read a little bit of it and then give you my opinions. So, they say, we have received feedback from Trailblazers that the Amphoria's main story contains excessive lore exposition and too much reading, resulting in feelings of fatigue and tedium. Very true. I think most people would agree with that. There was way too much exposition, though it wasn't that bad of an exposition, it was just too much, and really the presentation was the main issue of this. They say, Amphoria's has a complex design, and during development, they wanted to ensure that the information supporting it was as complete as possible. However, the result has failed to meet Trailblazers' expectations. Very true. I agree so far. And in response to this feedback, they will address the root of the issue by reducing design-related explanations in the story. Trailblazers will have an option of skipping this content so that they may experience the main story in a more relaxed manner. And here they give a little bit of an example. I'm not really going to get too much into it. There you will be able to pick a choice without having to listen to too much of the yap, which is good. Still not a skip button, but it is what it is. They give some examples like you not having to do every single option and just clicking I'm out of ideas, and it pretty much takes you to the next part of the story. I think that's a pretty good change for people who don't really like to read. Usually, me personally, I do every single choice. I want to see the dialogues. They will also look to arrange the present missions in a more reasonable manner and reduce tedious narrative experiences like the black screen with white text. They mentioned it. Here's the thing, okay? There might not be so many black screens with white text. However, they have not mentioned anything about the overall presentation of the story. So while we might not get a black screen with white text, it might just be standing around, more of that. We'll see. Maybe they'll make new animations, but they have not mentioned anything in regards to that sort of presentation of the whole standing around and not moving. Hopefully they change that as well. But we will see in 3.1, okay? Now, another thing that they mentioned that they are going to be changing is the fact that there were too many puzzles, which some people have complained about. For me, it wasn't that big of an issue, but it has ruined the pacing a little bit for me when you had to do so many puzzles. Now you will be able to skip most of these puzzles, which I think is a good thing. I think the puzzles... I mean, I feel like it's fine having puzzles in the story, but I think there were just too many of these puzzles, and they took too much time, in my opinion. Most of these puzzles should have just been for you to explore in the overworld and not in the story, in my opinion, but it is what it is. So here they mention an example in the end section when you're talking to Gneas. You don't have to do all those puzzles. I think you can just skip through them is what I'm getting from this. Not having to do so many puzzles and whatnot. They're also going to be removing some of the mobs, so that's pretty good. You won't have to get into too many fights or dodge or whatever. Pretty good, pretty good. Then they say that they are trying to polish and fine-tune the upcoming versions of the game. Great. The content of 3.0 will be changed in 3.2. The changes that they have mentioned, the story changes. I believe the general story changes are going to be in the next update. I believe the general story of 3.0 will already have these changes. That's what I'm getting from this. And at the end, they say that Amphorius is a year-long journey, and these story and puzzle solving optimizations are just the beginning. The Express crew will continue to optimize content, and they're excited to bring bigger and better journey experiences. They will be adding richer combat gameplay and challenge goals to the game, which is very interesting. Very excited for that. I'm curious to see what kind of richer combat gameplay they are going to add, hopefully without any power creep. And they will also be updating older characters on the battlefield, strengthening the use of these older characters. Now, I'm very interested in this. I really want to see how they are going to update the older characters. I wonder if they're going to update the 4 stars as well, like DPS 4 stars like Arlen. Probably not. I'm guessing it's going to be the limited characters I feel like these older units definitely need some upgrades, like Sela is just unusable in the current content because of the HP inflation. We will see, hopefully they buff these older characters, make them actually usable, because power creep has been an issue, but if they actually make changes like this, I feel like power creep could be an issue of the past. Having characters at somewhat of a same level, right? Even older characters, if they keep updating them, it could possibly reduce power creep. And it makes sense from their perspective, because why would you pull for a Silver Wolf in this state of the game? There's just no point. Most of the DPSs can already give the weaknesses. There is quite literally no point for anyone to pull Silver Wolf, even if you like her. I guess you could pull for her, but yeah, she's pretty much at this point not a very good support. She just doesn't have a space in the meta, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I'm excited. This seems interesting, and this is a reason why we should complain. Because see, we complained, right, and we got our changes. Or at least are going to get some changes that we wanted. Pretty much get stronger, older characters, great change, and the story is going to get changed a little bit. And that's exactly why we need to complain about stuff that we don't like in these gacha games. I mean, just look at WoA, just look at ZZZ and HSR. You know, you have complaints and you share them in a constructive manner, and this is what happens. Sometimes they won't listen, but sometimes they will. If the outrage is big enough, then there's a game like Genshin, which doesn't listen, makes changes that nobody asks for, but it is what it is. I mean, Genshin is just too big to fail at this point, probably, who knows. They make too much money and they kind of don't care about making changes for the sake of the players. Sure, they make some quality of life changes, but they're mostly not that good, and yeah. But I'm excited. I'm excited for HSR. I was quite negative in my story video, but I'm curious to see how they implement it. At the end of the day, I'm very curious to see how they implement all of these changes, and if it actually changes the story in a meaningful manner, if the presentation gets better. I will definitely make a video about the 3.1 story. I'm going to give my review about it, and we'll see. Hopefully it gets better, okay? But yeah, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and yeah, I think I mentioned pretty much everything. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.